Welcome back to the foot sculpture. Today in this video we're going to finish this quick sculpture up. This of course is done with water clay and it is one of my favorite mediums. One of the things I like to do is make bold strokes using flat tools. I like the geometric shapes that you create using flat spatulas and paint scrapers and flat wooden tools. In the beginning, you have to be careful about pushing in the clay. So I use wood tools because they lets me put much more force into the clay without damaging anything. One of the things I do is count the toes. I've done this quite a bit. It just seems probably the smartest thing is to count them and just divide them. Here I am just putting in a line for where the foot is going to be. Because the foot is going to be on its toes, kind of on the balls of the feet. The toes are actually going to be slanted to the right because there's weight to the left. You're taking a step, so that means that the toes are slightly pointing to the opposite way. So I decided to make it a little bit more dynamic by creating a larger stride. My toes are actually too big, and now I'm cutting the platform because I do not want a overly large platform. If you reduce the platform as well, that means that you can put this on a table and it's not going to take up that much more room. Another tool I love using are the silicone tools. The silicone tools give you a little bit more flexibility, creates things nice and straight, and I love the paint type of strokes that it creates. You can get these silicone tools just about everywhere. I'll put a link in the description below. I think I bought these from eBay or AliExpress. They were maybe $10, $12, so not very expensive. But one thing I found is that the flat one is the most useful. This particular tool is a large serrated tool, and what I do is it creates a little bit of texture, but now you see that all the geometric forms are put together. I'm constantly taking measurements because things tend to get kind of wide, and my foot got extremely wide. And if you do things from life, you have that ability. Use your calipers often, take a measurement of your own foot or somebody's foot, and use that for reference. So I'm going to be cutting down the foot quite a bit because I don't want to have these monster feet. So I'm creating a little bit less of a base by cutting it using a paint scraper and just pulling out the clay. And I will be reusing the clay. All the clay that I removed from this sculpture I will be using. The silicone tool is also great for creating the toenails. It creates a different sort of surface to the clay. Even when it's fired, it's going to be a little bit more of a sheen. And wherever the bones come to the surface, I like to use it to indicate that there's a bony surface there. And here's my serrated tool. I'm using that to blend the muscle groups together. And I do this often, and then I go over it again and redefine the detail. The hollowing process requires that you remove the insides of the sculpture. A lot of people will cut a sculpture directly in half, but my technique, I like it much more. I'll build these windows and I will just kind of carve the inside as much as I can. In this particular one, I'm carving from the top, carving down as much as possible. And you want to create the same thickness of the sides of your sculpture. Don't get too thin, don't get too thick. And now on the side, I'm going to create another window. And this little tunnel is going to connect to the top tunnel that I just carved out. That's the key. You don't have to make it the diameter like 1 inch all around. You don't have to do that, but you do have to connect it from one hole to the other. And then vent it to the base. The base part is going to be the part I do last. So at this point, I'm going from the top. I made sure that I connected it to the second hole, and now this is the third hole. This third hole, I'm going to connect it to the second one. So that way, there's going to be a path of air from the very top to the bottom. And all the clay that you remove, you can reuse it, just wet it. Now this part is important. You score your clay and then add fresh clay on top of that. It might take a day or two for it to kind of firm up and get to the same consistency of the sides, but it will work. So this little texture that I'm putting on is very important because it creates a vacuum. In previous sculptures, I've done this, and sometimes I'm rushing, and when you rush, what tends to happen is that when you fire it, you'll see the exact shape of that clay that you added, because you have to get the clay to be as consistent and as soft as the clay that is around. So it can't be harder and it can't be softer. It's better to be on the softer side because then the clay is going to work itself together. And now I'm going to use my cloth to blend all the muscle groups together. And this is just a good way to dissolve all your details. That way you don't get carried away with any detail. And I do like to create textures, but I don't do it to create textures. I do it because it lets you see the form a little bit easier. This is what I got so far in the foot. And the reason I am working on two sculptures right now at the same time, and one is the Hulk in oil clay, and then this one in water clay. And usually I like to do just one sculpture and finish it, but that's why I haven't posted videos for very long. I've been busy with stuff, and doing two sculptures at the same time takes longer. But I do enjoy working on two sculptures at the same time because it gives me a little bit of a more relaxing sort of sculpt, because I can vary it up. You know, you get tired of working on one sculpture, your eyes get tired. So at least with this sort of thing, you can vary it up, and this is the status so far of my foot. And once I finish this, I'm going to fire it. But I'm pretty much close to completion. My goal was really just to do a quick foot. It's taking a little bit longer than I like, but as you can see, we're going to continue working on this and finish it up today. So it's going to be, I'm going to use some of my techniques that I've gotten from water-based clay, and it's much easier. I can sculpt in water clay much faster. And if you are starting to sculpt, I would recommend water-based clay because it's so much more fluid. It feels like you're painting with clay. Oil-based clay, it's got some really crazy benefits, like removing parts and putting it aside, putting it in your hand, looking at different vantage points. But the problem with that, it becomes robotic. Like the sculptures that you see, at least in my experience, there's a little roboticness to it. It almost looks like it's a 3D print. And water-based clay looks natural. It looks like a human made it. And I think that's the reason I really like it. Sure, there's a couple of things that's messier and there's other issues with it, but you cannot beat it for the price. You can buy like a 50-pound bag, 50-pound box for $30. You cannot do that with oil-based clay. There are downsides, like you have to scoop out the inside, and I did post a short and showed you guys how to do that, so refer to that if you need help. This entire thing is hollow, and I will be scooping it. Once this kind of hardens up a bit, I'm going to remove it and scoop from the base up. And there's going to be a space, a hollow space, just down the foot to the base. I'm probably going to scoop from this part up and connect it because it needs a way of venting the gases to escape when it's firing. So let's go ahead and get started with this. It is the foot sculpture. The next thing that I'm going to be doing with this is just removing a little bit of the platform, the sides, because I don't want that very large angular thing supporting the foot. And if possible, I might remove the thing entirely, but I like to keep just a little bit in there just for support. And hopefully this was educational for you guys. Make sure you hit like and subscribe if you found it useful, and I will see you in the next sculpture.